Welcome back to another explainer. Today we're heading way up into the majestic Himalayas, deep into the Parvati Valley. We are going to unpack a geographical and historical mystery where absolute extremes just beautifully and inexplicably collide. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this, because here is the stark contrast. On one hand, you've got the Parvati River. It's ice cold, it flows violently, and it's famously impatient. But right beside it, natural hot springs, boiling at literally nearly 100 degrees centigrade. I mean, it's a complete mind-bending natural anomaly. You have two totally distinct bodies of water existing completely side by side with this massive temperature gap. So how is this even possible? And maybe more importantly, what stories do people tell to actually make sense of it all?
To really get the vibe of this place, we first have to understand the river itself. The author of our source material uses this wonderfully vivid sensory language to capture this icy force. She writes, "Parvati River is like a young girl, and the perfect word to describe her would be all-had. She is impatient, in a hurry, and full of energy." I love that description. Cutting its way right through the mighty Himalayas, this river is just an unstoppable force. You look at her and you instantly know you cannot hold her, you can't control her, and you definitely can't bind that abundant energy. You can really only sit back and respect that raw power.
I want you to just imagine for a second, standing on the metal bridge that crosses over this river to reach the local Gurudwara. Right beneath your feet, the bridge is literally vibrating, just violently shaking with the sheer deafening roar of the water. The river rushes with such intense power and force that it feels like nothing could stand in its way. When you stand there, the author actually notes that all your thoughts seem to just stop. It's this incredibly grounding experience, putting you completely in the present moment against the backdrop of raw, untamed nature.
Section 1. Guru Nanak's Miracle, the origin of the sacred springs. So how exactly did our ancestors explain this sudden eruption of boiling water right next to a freezing river? Well, let's transition from that raw physical power into a rich cultural narrative, starting with a very famous visit back in the late 16th century.
Our sources outline a truly captivating Sikh history here. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was visiting Manikaran, and his disciples had gathered raw materials from the village for the langar, the community kitchen, but they were missing one absolutely crucial element: fire to cook the food. So what do? Guru Nanak simply instructs them to lift a stone, and to everyone's absolute astonishment, boiling water rushes right out. It's literally hot enough to cook in. But here's where the tension builds. When the disciples put the food into the pond, it just sinks. They look to their guru completely confused. And that's when he teaches them a profound lesson in gratitude. He tells them that if they want the food, they must first offer it to God. And the exact moment they pledge it to God, the food miraculously floats right back to the surface, perfectly cooked.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this ancient miracle translates so seamlessly into the modern everyday tourist experience. You see, this isn't just a story from the past. Visitors today actually boil their own grains. By tying them up in small cotton bags, they submerge them directly into these very same boiling springs for about 30 minutes. If you walk around the courtyard today, you can see these big utensils placed right there, actively cooking the langar in the geothermal waters.
Section 2. The Garam Kothi, healing in the heat. Now, beyond the springs themselves, there is an entire physical ecosystem built around this heat. I want to guide you now away from the main springs and down a long, tunnel-like corridor into an area known as the Garam Kothi.
The Garam Kothi is this place of visceral, almost unbelievable physical extremes. I mean, the floor stones here are literally too hot to stand on. It is absolutely blistering. And yet, you'll see elderly visitors sitting directly on this scorching surface. Why? Because this intense, seemingly unbearable heat is actively sought out to cure severe joint pain and other related ailments. I really want you to ponder the sheer, immense willpower it takes to endure that kind of heat. It's such a fascinating look at a pill-free, natural cure driven entirely by physical endurance and a deep faith in the Earth's natural properties.
Section 3. The Lost Jewel, an ancient Hindu myth. Let's move to and see how this builds, because we're going to shift our lens now to explore a completely different, ancient cultural myth for these exact same boiling springs.
According to local legend, Lord Shiva and his consort Parvati lived here for over 1,100 years. During a playful moment in a pond, Parvati lost her mani, a precious gem from her earring, and it sank all the way down to Sheshnag, the giant serpent deity who actually balances the earth on his hood. Well, when Shiva couldn't find the gem, he grew absolutely furious and opened his destructive third eye. In response, a terrified and frantic Sheshnag violently spat out boiling water filled with jewels just to return it. Parvati picked hers out and cursed the remaining jewels, turning them straight to stone. This brilliantly illustrates how the violent bubbling of the hot springs we see today is viewed as a direct reflection of the cosmic anger of Shiva and that frantic spitting of Sheshnag.
And here is a fascinating historical surprise for you. That myth we just discussed, it actually bled right into local reality. According to the people there, actual jewels, real manis, supposedly spewed right out of this boiling spring for centuries. Literally right up until a massive earthquake struck the region in the year 1905. It's just amazing how ancient myth and documented geological events become perfectly intertwined like that.
Section 4. Unlocking Nature's Coded Stories. Making Sense of the Parvati Valley. As we begin to wrap up this explainer, I want you to picture looking at the local Shiva temple through the thick steam constantly emanating from these hot waters. It's time to pull together the geography, the history, and the myths we've explored.
So the crucial point is this. What we have at Manikaran Sahib is a true physical paradox. We're talking about an inexplicable 100-degree centigrade gap between adjacent waters. To make sense of it, humanity is offered a Sikh history rooted deep in divine providence and gratitude, right alongside a Hindu myth driven by cosmic power and lost treasures. Ultimately, the whole thing serves as a humbling reminder of nature's untamed, uncontrollable forces. These diverse stories really represent our beautiful, varied attempts to comprehend the awesome extremes of the world around us.
Which brings us to a final provocative thought. Are these tales just history and mythology? Or are they a coded story passed down from our ancestors, designed to remind us just how little we truly understand about nature? The next time you encounter a natural marvel, ask yourself what deeper mysteries it might be hiding. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the Parvati Valley on this explainer. Keep your curiosity sharp, and I will see you on the next one.